The maximum possible Social Security payment in 2022 is over $4,100. This video will show you the 3 levers that you can pull to get really close to that number, and how much you earn is not the biggest lever by far. In fact, most of the improvement comes from areas that just about anybody can control. Stick around to the end because I'm going to discuss the great equalizer, the way the system was designed to help people with modest income and also penalize those with large income. Let's start off by talking about what happens to people as they approach retirement. As they approach 62, they start seeking information. That information usually comes from their friends. Some are already retired and taking Social Security, others are not, but they share information. This is pretty common as you approach retirement age. And depending on who your friends are, you either get really good information or really bad information. But certainly it shouldn't be the key source of information for your Social Security decisions. The second is the retiree's family. This group tends to be more aligned than the friend group because the decisions that the retiree makes often affect them as well. Lifestyle magazines and websites, these generally have an agenda, so if you're viewing a travel website, you might not want to take their advice when it comes to Social Security. And the Social Security Administration. They generally have good information, but they don't know you personally, so their information can only be general information and won't be geared towards your specific situation. So what does this mean? It means that you need to take charge of your own retirement. You need to watch videos like this one, of course. You need to ask a lot of questions. You need to read. You need to understand how it all fits together. And when it comes time to making your decisions around Social Security, you'll be in a much better place than just about anybody else who might have your best interest at heart. All right, let's talk about how to get the maximum possible Social Security payment. In order to do this, you need to know one simple formula. That is today's value of your best 35 years of taxable income divided by 35. That's called your average indexed annual income. When you divide that by 12, that's your average indexed monthly income. It's very important for the conversation that we're going to have. Average means your best 35 years of income divided by 35, and index means all brought forward in today's dollars. If you're watching this video in late 2021, for example, that would be $2021, not 1983 or $84. So if you made $10,000 in 1985 and that had the same spending power as $48,000 here in 2021, that would be the number you would use, $48,000. The SSA has multipliers for every year that take it from the value back then to today's value. You do this for all of the years that you worked, but you only take the best 35. If, for example, you worked for 2 years in high school, the income from that job probably wouldn't be the best income to take your best 35 years if you work 37 years, of course. And remember, the SSA divides everything by 35, not 36 or 37. So if you have some low income years, you discard those. Also, if you had more than 35 years of income that you were taxed on, unfortunately, you don't get the benefit of the extra tax that you paid on those lower income years. But what happens if you didn't work for 35 years? Unfortunately, it's still divided by 35. A lot of you are saying, I took time off to raise a family, to go back to school, to find myself, to donate my time to other charitable causes, and none of those provided me with taxable income. Well, if you work 34 or 33 or even 32 years, the difference is probably negligible, but if the number goes down beyond that, you'll notice a difference, a big difference, the more time you took away from that 35-year target. People often get confused on this point because they've heard that the SSA will provide Social Security benefits if you've worked 10 years. Understand that's a minimum of 10 years. If you worked 10 years and not 35, and assuming that your income in today's dollars was the same throughout the entire time, you'll get basically a third, less than a third, of the value that someone else would get in terms of what's considered to be their average indexed monthly income. So lever number one, you need to work for 35 years. If you don't work for 35 years, you can't reach or get near the maximum possible Social Security payment. But remember, this is your best 35 years. And generally, people earn more money as they approach retirement than when they entered their working life. So keep that in mind as you're considering how to achieve the 35-year target. Now, up until this point, I haven't mentioned the thing that most people think is number one, most important to achieving a high Social Security payment, the maximum Social Security payment, and that is earning up to a certain amount. For those of us that are Social Security geeks like me, in 2022, that amount is $147,000. In 2022, $147,000 is the amount where the Social Security Administration stops taxing your income. Now, before you stop the video, let me tell you, you don't need to come near this number to approach the maximum possible payment because of something I'm going to show you in just a minute. So lever number 2 is what's called Social Security bend points. To understand how Social Security bend points work, let's assume you had a $48,000 average indexed annual income. You divide that by 12 and that's $4,000 a month. If this was your average over the 35 years, noting that some years are going to be higher, some years are going to be lower, then the SSA will take that average and plug that into a formula I'm going to show you. And the formula works as follows. For the first $1,024, the SSA will give you 90% of that number in your Social Security monthly payment. So in this example, it's $922. Bend point number 2 is 32% of the amount between $1,024 and $6,172. They'll give you 32% of that, which is $1,647. So if your average pay was $61.72, the SSA would give you 90% of your first $1,024 and 32% of the rest. That's $2,568.96. But notice that despite the fact that your average income went from $1,024 to $6,172, which is 6 times, the payment went from $922 to $2,569, which is only 2.5 times. This person earned 6 times as much, paid Social Security tax on 6 times as much, but is only receiving 2.5 times the Social Security payment of the person earning a modest amount. Now the final point, anything between $61.72 and the tax cap divided by 12 is going to receive 15% of the amount in their final Social Security payment, monthly payment. So if you assume that the person earned $147,000 in 2022, they added $72,936 to the Social Security taxable income pot, but received $912 in additional payment. But that only gets them to $3,480.66. How do they get above $4,100? This brings us to point number 3, which is the age that you take your Social Security payment. The numbers that I gave you assume that the person takes the payment at full retirement age. The fact is, assuming that they're age 67, they still have 21% improvement to go, and if they wait until age 70, they'll pick up 7 to 8% per year over those 3 years, and that's how the person achieves maximum Social Security. So the bottom line is this: for you to get a very, very healthy Social Security payment, you don't need to make a mega income. You don't need to make an average of $147,000 a year. You can see by the progressive decline in payment, but the level Social Security tax payment, that the system favors those that don't earn a lot of money, at least on the high end of income. So to earn a very, very healthy Social Security payment, you need to focus on things that you can control, and fortunately the system is geared towards helping those that don't make a tremendous amount of money. That means work 35 years, perhaps a little bit longer in case you had some very low earning years, and understand that age does matter when you take your Social Security payment. if you want the maximum possible Social Security payment, those are the levers that are completely in your control, or largely in your control anyway. If you want a handy Excel spreadsheet where you can plug in a lot of different what-if scenarios related to bend points and Social Security payments, you can go to my website, holyschmidt.com/bendpoint, and you can download it for free. And I've also put a link in the description below. If you like this video and you want to see more of me, please make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. I post about twice a week. Also, check out this video on what to do if you're 60 years old and you have absolutely no retirement savings. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.